Claudia Nordin was born to the Kvik family in 1973. A year after the family moved to Sweden, the Kviks left Poland in 1972. Communism would announce dim horizons for people, more so for the Kviks, a family of Caldera Roma travelers who would earn their living from pottery making. At that time, Sweden was in dire need of immigrants. When the Kviks decided to pursue a better life for their children, the Red Cross organization helped them get to Sweden.
They came to Norrköping flygplats, and there were 70 of them in old magazines and everything. You can see it was my aunts, my uncles, the cousins, my grandfather's grandmother, and it was about 70 people, 75 people.
Although Claudia was born in Västerås, Sweden, she grew up feeling she was different than her Swedish friends and colleagues.
Today the schools are very mingled, most of the schools. But in that time, 1980, 85, I was going to school in pre. And it was, where do you come from? I'm a gypsy. Oh, a gypsy. So it was, and they made fun of my name, Claudia Kvik. My name is Kvik. It's not now, but my girl name was Kvik. And they were, they were laughing at me. A gypsy. What are you? Are you a gypsy? It was things that they were children, but it was hard for me because I could also see the difference between me and my girlfriends.
As a teenager, Claudia had to quit school.
I went 7 years in high school. Here in Sweden is 9 years, but I only went 7 years because when I was 14, then my father says, "Now it's enough. You are 14 now. You don't need any more education. It's the gypsy way. You are gonna, start to learn how to be a good wife." Major, more or less like that. And I was quite happy that way because I didn't like school. But I was 14. It was a little bit rebellion thing. I hated school. I started to hate school. It wasn't fun. I had to go up early, and it was a stupid thing to do actually. But it was like what my mother and father said, and it was okay. So I finished school at 14, and I was staying home or visiting my uncles, my aunts in Västerås, my cousins. And I was just home and, doing nothing especially. And then I started to work at 16. Yeah, I thought that I have to do something. I cannot have stayed home for 2 years and just have, dribble around and doing nothing, like basically. So I started to work when I was 16, and that was okay for my parents.
Claudia and her siblings were brought up in a highly traditional family.
We were 5 children, 2 brothers and 3 sisters. And we were brought up very traditional in that way that we had to know how to behave, that it was mother and father who had the last word when it was something. It wasn't like my friends, my Swedish girlfriends that I have.
Her parents, Roma travelers, would make a living by traveling around, selling different things. During the summer, though, the entire family would travel together around Scandinavia.
Every summer, as soon as the school ended, we had our caravan, and we left all the summer until the school started again. So 2 months we were traveling around in Sweden, in Norway, Finland, around in Scandinavia. During the summertime we were typical gypsies. But then the school started, so they were, they know that here in Sweden school is very important, so they came back. And then all the year we were staying at them, so as soon as the school ended, it was the caravans again. So it was a lovely time, I have to tell you.
Claudia traveled with her parents over the summers until she got married.
I had an arranged marriage, actually. I got married in 93. My parents arranged the marriage with a boy. They knew He was also Calderash, but he was a Spanish. My parents came from a Polish gypsy, but he was a Spanish gypsy. But it was also Calderash who would speak the same dialect and had the same traditions and everything. They were relatives on my father's side. And one day they came and to visiting my parents. I didn't do anything, and they were talking with my father and saying that you have a daughter, we have a son, let's make something about it. And I was 19 and quite naive, but I was raised with these traditionals, traditions. I knew that my father and mother want everything good for me, so I knew that they would do anything to harm me. Now I understand that it was wrong, because we are different. We're not living like that anymore. But I understand that my parents and his parents just wanted good, because they will still believe that this gonna work. It worked for them, so of course it's gonna work for the next generation. But I think that I still had too much modern influence, so it didn't work out. We divorced after 2 years.
The short marriage resulted in the birth of daughter Daisy. The divorce was not welcomed by the local Roma community.
It's not okay with divorces in the gypsy community. It's very rare, actually. But they could see that this is not going to work, actually. So they had a meeting with his parents, my uncles, his uncles, and they also had to be another part who is not relative with either he or me. And they wanted to speak about the thing, why he did like that, why he couldn't do like that, what was the trouble, like that. And then it said that, okay, this marriage will be over. This is your daughter, take care of her. This is your son, take care of him.
The traditional Roma court judged their divorce.
It was like this because it has to be somebody's fault. You understand? Why did this marriage didn't work? Whose fault was it? So the blame was on him. So it was his blame that he didn't work. This marriage didn't work because of him, because he didn't really tried. He didn't want it anymore. He was sick of it. He wanted to live his way. He didn't want to take responsibility of the child. So they said, the judge, the Roman judge, said that it's your fault. You are responsible for this divorce. It wasn't the perfect future. It wasn't the future I thought I'm going to have. I wanted to have the marriage. I wanted to have the home, the children, the puppy, Yeah, but you understand. And here I had a husband who wasn't want to take responsibility, who had his issues. Today we understand each other perfectly. We had a very good communication, and we are friends, and we understand each other. But we were too young. He wanted different, I wasn't different, and then we had a child, and neither of us was really prepared for that.
After the divorce, Claudia returned to her parents with Daisy. She went back to school, graduated from university, and today she works in customer relations.
And then 8 years after that, I met Jonas. It's my husband. We have been married. Next year, in February, it's going to be 10 years. We have been married. It's been a fantastic time. It's been wonderful.
Today, Claudia has everything she's ever wished for: her family and peace of mind.